all. Hope you're all well, happy, as usual. Well, guess what we're going to speak about? What's this leaving? Maybe we've got it. How do I get rid of this thing in front of me? Yeah.
Yes, darling.
How do I get rid of that?
Oh, this meeting's being recorded. Got it. Just say got it.
I can't.
That's it. Oh. Well, as you know, I can't teach you anything. Can't tell you anything. All I can do is point toward and ask you to look to where I'm pointing to. Because in understanding what we're talking about, there's nobody who can teach you anything. And nobody can tell you anything. Purely and simply because there is nobody or no thing, including you, that is other than that already. That's the great mantra, I am that, which innately you know. Because I say that's the chair, that's the house, that's the tree, that's the flower, that's the sky, that's you, that's me. Everything is that. Just the one essence that we discriminated with the words. We put the chair, the tree, the flower on it, it's discriminated. The thatness, the one without a second. That's what non-duality is. One without a second, not two. All and everything in this manifestation is all that, though it appears or seems to be other than that, because the belief in the person has been taken on, which didn't happen until you learnt words. And you recognise that, and you go back and try and remember your birth, you can't. Why don't you remember? Because you simply had no words in. Though you were existing. And you were not unaware, you were aware. But you couldn't say anything about it without putting the word on it. What's this awareness? Can you tell me what awareness is? You can't have a description for it, but you know you're not unaware. So you must be aware. And that awareness, when translated, means you are knowing. You are that beingness, and you are the knowing of that beingness. And loving to be. You don't want to be out of it right now. You love to be. So the thatness we're talking about, you already are that. But we've taken on these words and gone into the words and keep conditioning ourselves, our parents, our schools, everybody around us, and ourselves, when we learn words, are believing in the word. Not realising the word is not the thing. It's just a vibration. When you look at the word, what's word? It's sound. Sound is a vibration, and a vibration is a movement of energy. And that pattern you call yourself or me is breathing, heart beating, hair and fingernails growing, food's being digested. It's happening. And the ing on it gives us its actuality. Being, knowing, loving to be. Can you negate that beingness? You can't say, I am not. You can say it, shout the words out as long and as loud as you like. But have a look, what's enabling you to say it? Means there's something there that's prior to the thought or the word. And you can call it God or whatever label you like to put on it. I like to say it's life itself. And life is all there is. It's another name for the absolute, the totality. But you see how all these words have divided and split us up from all these things? Instead of realising and recognising and functioning as that absolute intelligence energy, that's another label we put on it. We take ourselves to be the word and divide ourselves with the word. I'm Bob, the Australian, and I'm not good enough. I'm fearful. I'm anxious. I'm unhappy. I'm depressed. Now look at these words again. What are they? Sound, vibration, energy. And it's constantly vibrating. And what's a vibration? Zoom, zoom, zoom. Good, bad, pleasant, painful, happy, sad, day, night, loving, hating. That's all the movement of energy. And we put the stoppers on it, the blocks with the word, this is good, and that we think that's the end of it. Well, that's bad. And we don't want the bad, we want the good, we want the happiness, we want the peace, the love, the joy. And we don't want the other. So instead of seeing it's the same essence, it's the, as I call it, the one stick hasn't got two ends to it. When we go to the bad, we don't want that. Try and separate, get out of it. Instead of realising, if it is the one essence, it's going to move, it can't go any further than the bad. But you can keep persisting in it by the belief that you are it and seem to keep it there and not allowing it to flow back. Like you go to the North Pole, you can't go any further north. You go to the South Pole, you can't go any further south. Where do they meet? In the equator. Where's the equator? The equilibrium, in the centre. But it still hasn't been separate. Though we've seemingly separated, we put the boundaries on it. Now, what's everything appearing? If that, what's the very first thing you see? What's the closest thing to your eyeballs? Isn't it space? You say, I see this and I see that, but you're looking out past the space into the seeming pattern, shape and form, which is appearing in that space. I look out the window here and I see the window for a start off, the panes, and then look outside, there's trees, there's flowers, there's movement with the wind blowing and things like that. There's all that activity going. But to come back to where it seemingly starts from, there is nothing here. It's just empty. The space is empty. But seeming forms take place further away from it. And the pattern, shapes and forms are just vibrations. Isn't there thinking going on? Seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, feeling, believing. The ing gives it an activity. An activity is a movement. And what can any movement be anything other than energy? So I use the term intelligence energy. And energy, intelligence is knowing. Not a blank. It's knowing, you're seeing and knowing what's appearing in the seeing. You're hearing and the knowing of what's appearing in the hearing. Same with the feeling, tasting, touching, smelling, thinking. It's all patterns, shapes and forms which are appearing in that space which is empty, but they call it a cognizing emptiness, an emptiness that has the capacity of knowing or cognizing. They tell you that emptiness is form. And the form can be nothing other than the emptiness. So all these patterns, shapes and forms that are appearing in this space like awareness are no thing. And those pattern shapes and forms can appear to be very useful, solid and substantial. These words that are coming out of this so-called mouth right now, the words are no thing, and the mouthpiece is no thing either. But there is that life, intelligence energy, that's vibrating and enabling it to happen. As I say, you hit a note on a piano, it makes a sound. That sound's a vibration. And that vibration then can be transformed into a musical note or a bad, whatever, all the different things, which can seemingly appear to be. Everything that is appearing is no thing. That's it, okay? Something cannot come from no thing. How could it? And so the something and the no thing are seemingly appearances. Like in your sleep at night, there is no thing going on there. But then a dream will come up. And it'll pattern through that pattern, shape and form and stir the inner energies that are the vibration in it, and a dream will appear. Now you haven't woken up, that body hasn't woken up, it's still asleep. But the things are appearing again, seemingly very real, seemingly very solid. But when you wake up, you realise your body hadn't moved off the bed, no words had come out of your mouth. So that dream was taking place in that no thingness. And we don't realise that when we wake up, that this is a living dream, because the waking up, the dream seeming continues from where it left off the night before. But the sleeping dream, when you wake up, all the rivers, the mountains, the hills, the people, the shopping malls, everything that appeared in that dream disappeared. But they don't disappear in this waking dream. But the thing is, we take the waking dream to be real when we learn these words, because of the functioning intelligence energy just vibrates into concepts, into images, ideas, sounds, which are intelligence labels as words, feelings, thoughts, ideas. They're still the same vibration, essence. And that's the wonderment, amazement of it. It can appear as everything. So the everything is really no thing. And the no thing is the everything. But we call it nothing. And we put a different translation on that nothing. We think that's blank, zero, zilch, nothing at all. But all they're pointing to is when they use that term is no thing. That means it's no pattern, no shape and form, just another seeming thing. It's seeming to be so because they call it, tell you that they call it a phenomenal manifestation. So the manifestation is all that no thing. And the definition of phenomena is that which appears to be. But we're all appearing here right now, seemingly so. It's a phenomenal manifestation. It's only appearing to be so. And the wonderment of it, the amazement of it, it appears to be real. It appears to be actual. This appears to be solid, seemingly so. And I put it under a microscope, see how solid it is. It's not solid at all. You've broken down into pure space, emptiness. So the manifestation or life is amazing, wonderful thing. But in the pattern, shapes and forms, which we believe to be real, the person is not real. But because it's seemingly real, we take it to be real. And this is where this so-called I, seemingly appears from, this mouthpiece, this pattern, this shape and form. It seems very real. But is it? And so we've learnt the words I or me, and the word am, I am that. That's the absolute, that we don't stay there. We lose sight of the thatness and don't see it. But I am Bob, the Australian, and I'm this, I'm that, the other. Put all these labels on. And now this vibrating pattern that's seemingly solid has taken on a different image, a different set of seeing. It's no thing. It seems that now it is something. This pattern, shape and form, which is no thing, it's now, because it's seemingly there, solid and real right in the moment, we think it's something. I am this thing, this person, this individual. What does that feel like? Well, we've added to the no thing all these seeming things, which are words, concepts, ideas, images, and taken these patterns to be real. I am this imagined so-called person, but I believe it. Energy of belief goes into it, and instead of the imagined person, I am this person. Not recognizing that it's all absolute. You really can't separate anything, though it appears in a different vibrator to different, seeming different patterns. How could it be recognized? It can't recognize itself in its absoluteness, though it is the very knowing. It is the very life. It is the very essence that you are, a spirit or essence, different labels, different word we put on, or the godliness, if you like to use that term. And you are that. You are that everything and no thing. There's can't separate the absolute. Though it appears to, but it can only be recognised through the seeming division. So when there was a belief here that I was a separate entity, there were a lot of problems going on, a lot of trouble, A lot of different words were picked up, put different definitions in them, and fear, anxiety, depression, guilt, unhappiness, love, hate. All these words took on, they put a seeming meaning into them and discriminated ourselves with the word, with the belief that I am this and that is not me, this and that. And suffer accordingly because of that. Now, what's recognised in that this me, this belief in me, is the cause of all the psychological suffering that goes on. It's only me that can be fearful. It's only me that can be anxious. Take that me off. What is it? It's just pure anxiousness, just pure sensation, feeling, which we put the label on. But what can it do if we're not relating to something other? So this believed in me, seemingly, but the belief is making it seemingly substantial and solid. So me is fearful, me is anxious, me is unhappy, depressed, guilty. Me is the cause. And that's what they call karma, cause and effect. So when it's believed in me that it's fearful, what's the effect? Well, the effect is fear or anxiety or guilt or whatever labels comes up, because that's the way this vibrating pattern, intelligence energy is patterning through this pattern in the pairs of opposites, good, bad, pleasant, painful, happy, sad, past, future, high, low, yesterday, tomorrow. Constantly, seemingly dividing what they call the indivisible, the inseparable, one without a second, not two. It can never be divided. It can never be separated. It never has and never will be. But can you separate the I am from the that? The innate intelligence realises I am that essence. I am that sense of presence. I am that sense of separation. Where does that I am come from? It comes from a vibration of a sound, a throb, a pulsation, what they call expander. Om, I am. I am. Then, to put a bit more, I can't say just I am, what's that? To put the individuality on. I am Bob, the Australian. I'm good or I'm not so good. I am unhappy. And this is me. This I am is me. And so now that believed in I am takes on the fear, the anxiety, the stress, the guilt, and the belief that it is all these words or concepts. And they become seemingly real because they're fixated on. But we lose sight of the fact that they're all words. Words are sound. Sounds are vibration. A vibration is a movement of energy. So they're all vibrating patterns of this intelligence energy, life essence, life itself. It's vibrating into these sounds which we take to be real. If they're seen through, where does that leave you? Without a word. Has life stopped? What's wrong with it right now if you don't think about it? Leave that thought for just a moment. What can you say without a thought, without the word? You can't say a thing at all without the word. But the amazing thing is you haven't disappeared, have you? You haven't stopped breathing. Heart hasn't. Hair and fingernails haven't stopped growing. So what must you be? They're the words that are distorting, hiding and obscuring the essence that you are, or must you be that life itself? And Christ made the statement, whoever he was or whatever he was, another pattern, shape and form, that I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. He wasn't talking about himself as that believed in I am. He was talking about himself as a concept. Way. That's the way to go back. I am is one, only. I am that one essence. Innately, you know, everything is that. Because without discriminating any further, that's the tree outside, that's the flower, that's the room you're in, that's the glasses you're wearing, or that's the room you're in. Everything is that. And even that concept, I, is that. That is all there is. That is the one without a second, the non-dual essence. If that is all there is, and you are that, that is the life. Because that's all there is. There is only life. There is nobody who lives a life. And life is ever fresh and ever new and constantly and ever living on life. For out of life, more life comes. And see that. How did you appear? If it wasn't for the life essence within your father and your mother. So life is living on life. And when we're eating fruits, vegetables, animals, and all the things, we're living on life. Life lives on life. So where is death? Where is death? It's impossibility. The pattern, shapes and forms are constantly changing. And if the recognition is there that you are prior already as that light to the pattern, shapes and forms, if the pattern, shapes and forms are appearing and there's nothing to express through, has the life gone anywhere? Can it go anywhere? The patterns have come and gone, but the life is still there. So you are that. And then, as the effects are seen to be because of the cause, and you said the cause is a fiction, aren't a lot of these fears, anxiety and stress, guilt and unhappiness and shame going to disappear? For the first couple of years in your life, you were living without the word. And you can't tell me anything about that. And you can't tell me when the birth happened because you had no words. So the words, or the capacity of reasoning, is very useful in this pattern, shape and form to express and appear and recognise and understand itself and the wondrous ways it can express. And so in understanding or recognising that and not relating to a miserable little me, there can be a lot of joy in it. There can be less of the things going on around you. If absolutely certainly you are that pure intelligence entity, what would you want of the other persons? And what would they want from you? who would be superior to you? Who could you put that label on? Oh, he's superior to me, or no, I'm not gonna. Who could be inferior to you? Why would you be concerned of what the other one is doing? Why would you have to go to war with anybody? It's only because of that belief, and then we've got the children and things around us which we want to hang on to. We want to keep there. We don't want to lose these things. Instead of leaving everything just as it is. Just as is. What is right now. And realise that everything is. And it's so spontaneous. It's got no duration to it whatsoever. It's constantly changing. So, wouldn't it be wise and to recognise the changes, to stay with the changeless and leave the change that go on. How long does it last if it's not fixated on? If a thought or a concept or an idea is not attached to or fixated on, what's happening? Only that happening. Things are appearing, playing around and disappearing. Happenings going on. But it is no thing to any seeming pattern, shape and form until it's translated. That's how it gets its recognition or knowing, by expressing through the pattern, shape and form. As that person takes on the idea that it's the persona. It's not. But have a look out there in nature, and that's the amazing thing. As in nature. Nature is natural. What is going on naturally, not conceptually or personally or other, but naturally. And see how it's functioning out there. And you realise the Earth's rolling around the sun. And where we believed it was static before, see it's constantly moving around. Seasons are coming and go because of that sun shining, patterning, shaping and forming and expressing. All the things that are appearing on the earth, rain, seasons, trees, flowers, everything, all happening. We try to grasp and put the concept of time on. We try to put the concept of time on this life and say it started billions of years ago. We think we're smart enough to work it out in the mind, and we can give it that concept, and millions can take our stand there and believing in it. But we're tied to that belief. Recognise it. And then we talk about eternity. And we think that billions of years is eternity, but it's not, because it has a beginning, seemingly has a beginning. Anything that has a beginning will have an end. And eternity is beginningless and endless. When did you begin? You can't remember, you don't know. You were told. And when are you going to end? You won't know what your last breath is. And this is the end. Because the awareness or the consciousness, which comes on awareness, will disappear. And the awareness which you can't say what it is, but everything fashions, shapes and forms on or in that awareness. That will still be there, but none of these pattern shapes and forms will be there, like as you recognised through looking, investigating it, like civilisations have come about, they've risen, played around for a while and disappeared. Dinosaurs and other things have appeared and disappeared. All these things have come and gone on the essence. Now the essence, the life itself, is eternal because it has no beginning. You can't say when now begins. There's no time. So if it's beginningless, it must be endless. That's what eternity is. Not billions of light years that come and go. And it ever was so and ever will be. And in that, if it's eternal, there's nothing be taken, added to it, nothing can be taken away from it. It's always and ever been the same. But you can't say always or ever either, because that's the concept of time. It's spontaneous. When does now begin? Grasp it, if you can. Now, I've got it, but it's already gone. But it's beginning again, and it's ending again. Hasn't got any duration. Time is duration from here to here. There's time, it takes duration to be there. But there's no here to here, it's always this, just as it is. We've been seemingly separating it from ourselves and trying to become one with that, because it's only the one. That's what they tell us. And you've got an idea or understanding of that, or you wouldn't be looking to try to become one. Innately, you know deep down. But the thing is, we haven't realised that you are the one that can appear as many. Like this body seems to be one. How many million cells or trillion cells are there in it? There's still the one. So that's basically what we're on about. Like it if you like, or pull it apart if you want to, question it. But and some of you have recognizing or cognizing, or understanding it, knowing it. And in doing that, knowing it and realizing it, you, that what we call you, will be the mouthpiece that will pass it on to others. And that's how, when you look back on it, it's seemingly been passed down through the seeming ages, the oneness. Someone here and there has recognised it and told someone else who was able to see it in that. A lot of us are so locked into this believed in entity that we miss out on. But it's simple. So simple that it's missed. There's nothing simpler than one. And it's not even that one. It is just the absolute. And you are that. I am that. Every seeming thing, pattern, shape, and thing is that. That is all there is. There's only this, isn't it? So, a couple of you there can tell us about it. Others of you might have questions. But go ahead. If you recognise it, have the confidence within that recognition of being able to speak it. Don't be afraid of what others will think of you. The seeming others can think of what they like. Doesn't matter. because they're bound in it as well. Yeah, people along the time I've been talking to, some of them have said, oh, it's just, you know, you can't stand for this. So it's, that is, I am that, I am this, or I am that. Well, I'm not going to argue with you. If you believe that, stay with it. Let the suffering be there. But when you are the absolute, how can there be any fear, anxiety, stress, guilt, shame, or remorse? Those sensations can appear to be open, but can you separate? If you can't separate them, you know, as it goes now, there's the good and the bad. We like the good, we don't want the bad. Instead of seeing that the bad is the other end of the good, they're not separate apart. We try and get rid of the one and stay with the other, and that's where it's a possibility. You can't separate the inseparable. Instead of trying to separate it, recognise for what it is and leave it as it is and realise it'll change. Just the same as when it was good and the good disappeared, it changed. You didn't want it to go. As a matter of fact, you tried to prevent it from going, because that's all we want is the good, or the love, or the joy, or the peace. But it couldn't be one without the other. They're both the one, two ends of the one stick. So when it seemingly long comes up and you're caught in it, just relax. Leave it as it is. Realise there's no thought stitched in your head or fixated in there anywhere. Thoughts come and thoughts go, just like there's no cloud fixated on the sun or in the sky. They come and they go. And the natural state is simply dividing. There'll be drought, flood, viruses, illness, it all goes on. We try to get rid of the one, the other. Realise it will change. And it does change. And in the case of viruses and things like that, things come up in the intelligence entity that will find a solution to it to help it go away for a while. But it'll come back again sooner or later, because there's always been plagues and viruses and germs down through the same ages. They've come and gone. There's always been civilizations that have arisen and got away, and it's changing right now. The British civilization was under the Romans, Carthage, and then the British. They fell apart after the Second World War. The Americans are coming out now, they'll be gone next, and it looks like the Chinese are going to come up. They'll run around. The play's going to go on. But when it happens, what you are has never been contaminated or corrupted by anything. And there's a sense of safety in that. A knowing intelligence, I am the absolute. Let it play however it likes. This pattern, which is seemingly here right now, the essence of it has always and ever been. And always and ever been so. Like the drop of water that goes back into the ocean, it'll never come out again, but it's still the same water. The amount of water that's in the ocean has never changed, never become any less or any more. So get into it. Away you go.
I guess we can all unmute. I have nothing much to add to that. I mean, if anybody else wants to jump in,
Because you can't add to it what you need to do.
leave it as it is.
Yeah, rest it. Let it rest in its uncontrived singularity. That's a statement in the Tibetan Buddhism. Very good one too.
Hi, Bob.
I am.
Yeah, you put me to the supreme rest. Supreme rest.
Yeah, exactly. You do it anyway.
Yes, yes. All your grace. Just 2 points I wanted to tell Bob. First one, there is no mind. Second one, there are no others.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. See, there's no mind. What's mind? Thought, sound, word, vibration, energy. That's all it is. Vibrating of that intelligence in it. And we continue to say, my mind. Show me the mind. Show it to me.
That, yes. No words there.
The word's not the real.
Most
Hi,
of the
Bob.
times I laugh. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Hi, Bob. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's great to meet you.
Good to meet you too. How do you pronounce your name?
Jalaja.
Gallagher. Good.
You got it. So, I was reading John Wheeler, and he was saying it's important to know what you are not, but it's more important to know what you are. And I feel like I get a sense of what I'm not. I get that I am not a person. But I don't feel like I know what I am. When you speak about the absolute, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And
Well, you won't know because there is no you. But can you negate your being right now?
say it again.
I say you won't know because there is no you. You are a pattern, shape, and form that's appearing in the absolute. So take that pattern, shape, and form with the belief or the word out of it. You know, without the word, have you stopped breathing?
No.
Heart stopped beating? Food stopped being digested? So what must you be? Have you stopped living?
Not that I know of.
No. Well, if that's what's there, you must be the life. Not the body, not the mind, but the life. How many lives are there in this manifestation? If it's non-dual.
But aren't I that pattern, that form that comes and goes?
You are, what was that? What did you say?
Like,
Well,
aren't, yeah, go ahead.
no, repeat it, please, because I missed out.
So I still feel like I'm this patterning that comes in life that comes and goes.
Yeah, but who feels?
Who feels it?
Yeah,
Well, there's awareness.
yeah. There's awareness. There's a feeling. So you say, I feel. You're putting that I under the feeling. What you are, you might be the feeling itself, the seeing, the hearing, the knowing, the actual functioning itself, the life itself.
But how do I know that that isn't tied to my body mind shape?
Well, you just said it. How's it tied to my body mind? Whose body mind? The life. You are the life. And what appears in pattern, shapes, and forms as life, in that life, it's as I say, it's all a phenomenal manifestation. It's all appearing in that. And you are that life. Now shift from being the person into the life itself. That life is knowing, isn't it? You say there's a knowing there, but you say me or I know. But can the thought me or I know anything? Can a thought see?
Yeah.
Can it hear? So if the thought's not seeing or hearing, what is it? Isn't it the life that I am? I am that life. I am that absolute life. Wouldn't that be so?
I'm not sure.
Well,
Like when I think about like the chair I'm sitting on is not aware, but I am aware. So how can it all be one if the chair has no awareness, but I do?
what is a chair? Let us look at. It can be broken down into no thing. It's the chair you're sitting on. If it's made of wood, it's a tree. What's a tree? Made up of elements. What's elements? Vibration, energy, and all the patterning, shape, and form can be broken down into that one essence. Intelligence, energy, the energy is as an innate intelligence, a knowingness, a wondrous intelligence. You'd be amazed at the way it patterns, shapes, and forms and expresses. The thing you don't realise is you are that. You are that same life essence. It's patterning, shaping, and forming with all the thoughts and reasoning and things that are going on around. And it's enabling that pattern to see and recognise these things. Put words or labels on them to discriminate them.
So the knowingness in the chair and the knowingness in me are the same?
Pure knowingness, yeah.
You ever wonder
That's-
what keeps that chair together, like keeps it from just falling apart? You know, the chair could just all of a sudden, if it wanted to, just all of a sudden just evaporate and just like, what's holding it together? What do you think is doing that? Is it possible that the same thing that's holding that chair that you're sitting on in one piece, instead of it collapsing, is the same thing that is what you are, that is breathing you and firing the synapses in your brain while making the planets go around the sun and turning day into night and doing everything. So that for me, when he taught about that idea of intelligence energy, that was like, wow. Like I said, I used to wonder, well, how am I that sun? How am I that star? How am I a tree? I don't get it. But when you look at it like an energy, okay, well, there's an energy. And go look at a corpse if you've never seen one. If you've never seen one and you don't have access to it, go to the grocery store and tell me if that chicken in the refrigerator section is the same as what you'd see on a farm, or is there maybe something missing? You know, if it's not breathing, there's something that's animating it. The same thing that animates that chicken and is animating you and me right now is the same thing that's holding your chair together in one piece. And it's intelligent. It knows somehow to keep the molecules spinning in such a way. I don't know. That's how you are that. That's the way I look at it.
Hi, Jalaja. Just I want to add some points which I learned from Bob. First one, me is a just concept. Now you are thinking that I am Jalaja. So just investigate that. Second thing, there is no need of desire, no need of any search or effort. We are putting this initially needed. In the last, we need to leave the effort, search, and desire. These are the veil in between you and the concept. Thank you.
Thank you.
Simply, we can say in one word, that is, you want to become. Don't become anything. That's all. You want to search the answer in the thoughts, words, or in patterns. You are prior to that. Why you want to come into that? Simple. No need to become. Just be.
And you cannot not be. Try and negate your beingness right now.
So Bob removed this last subsection. Initially, we think that everything is that, everything is that, but I am that. That will come in the last. So that is removed. That me is false. Me is just a word.
Yeah. Yeah, no such thing as me. And I is just a word also. And I am. When the Socrates says, stay with the I am, that's people think he's saying with the thought, I am, repeat that, but he's not. What that I am represents, it represents the sense of presence, the knowing that you are right now. There is a sense of presence there. I am that sense of presence, the knowingness, not the thought. So when he says stay with the thought, stay with that sense of presence. And the presence is not the past, nor is it the future. It's pre-sense, before the senses, feelings, concepts come up. Or pure awareness, if you like, or godliness, or whatever label they like to put on it. But the word on the label is not it. Just as it is right now, everything is that isness. Isness is part of the verb to be. It's being. You are being right now. You call yourself a human being. Believe in God, you call God the supreme being. Take away the word human, take away the word supreme, separate that beingness if you can. You can't negate your beingness, so you must be. And that beingness is absolute. It's perfect without any other labels on it. And that's what the Buddhists tell it. They call it the great perfection. You can't add anything to perfect. You can't take anything away from it. And they give it to you there and then. The great perfection is non-conceptual awareness. That awareness, you're not unaware right now, but that awareness that you are right now without putting any concepts on it. That's the great perfection. That's the beingness, the pure beingness, awareness. And another way to put it, the awareness of being is bliss. Satchitananda, being, knowing, loving to be.
Yes, Bob. Complete names and forms are erased. Names and forms are erased.
No. Name, I didn't get that, the name.
Form. Name and form.
Name and form, yes. Yeah,
And most of the times, even mind plays a game. Just it thinks that presence, it thinks that isness. That's a wrong thing. Intellectual
Yeah.
level, you should never think. There are no words. We cannot express.
yeah. That's what they tell you. In the beginning was the word. So it didn't begin until the word was there.
Yes, yes.
And the word was with God. And God's a label we put on it. All things were made by him, by the word. And there was nothing made that was made without the word. So that's when our problems start. That's when it all begins with the word. And you didn't have any words when you were born. So you are prior to the word.
May I ask another question?
Certainly.
So, just to continue with that, so this awareness that I have, um,
You don't have awareness. Awareness has you.
awareness has me.
Yeah. So this awareness that I am, that I don't have.
So so there is an awareness that is prior to the human form.
Yes.
How do you know that?
Pardon?
How do you know that? That there is an awareness that is prior to the form.
Well, are you unaware right now?
I'm aware.
So you're aware. How do you know that?
I just know it.
Yes, exactly. It just is.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't say it's awareness unless you had that pattern, that so-called body and mind to express through. And that pattern needs the life essence of it. You couldn't say a word without that organs in it, the brain, the heart, the lungs, and the things, the vibrations going through it. So it's a wondrous, amazing pattern to which it expresses through.
But how do you know that it's prior to the human form?
Well, when were you born? You don't remember. And you don't remember your birth, and you didn't learn any words for the first couple of years of your life. Now you lived without words then. Now, in the 9 months in the womb, you didn't have any words. So you were still living when you were forming in the womb. You were still living for the first couple of years of your life. Well, that life essence was there. And it was in your father and your mother. It's through the sperm and the ovum, which was the food they ate and the energy. And there was life in that sperm and ovum, intelligence, energy. It didn't have any words, but it knew what to do. And the ovum knew what to do. The egg fixated on the uterus, and the sperm swam to the ovum, flying there both to fuse with that intelligence, energy, or knowing, or awareness, or knowing what to do. And it's transferred into that, and those two cells going together is what you are today. It's that life essence that's continuing.
Hi, Jalaja. Just have one point. You are already Jalaja. There is no need to become Jalaja. You are using words and thoughts. So don't use words and thoughts. You are prior to that. Just you are already there. You are already Jalaja. You are already awareness. But you are separating and answering, taking the question. Don't separate it.
I'm just trying to absorb it all.
Just
Don't have
which,
any, don't have any words right. I'm just trying to absorb it.
yeah, just relax. Just relax and what's resonate with you will come up and express in your words, not anything. Relax, let it be. In the trying, you're fixating on the seeming subject, me, is trying to become. But you're being. So being is not becoming. Becoming implies a future time.
That is a fruitless game. You cannot become anything however you try. You try for years together. You cannot become anything, however we try.
I had an experience recently that I wanted to share, which was something occurred that would be considered fairly dramatic and probably interesting in terms of conversation. And I was on my way to a celebration of life, and I was supposed to speak. And for some reason, it occurred to me not to describe it, not to describe the event, etc. Even though there were still thoughts circulating in my brain about it, when I ended up going to the event, it was so lovely because there wasn't the story of me. There wasn't the story of me. It was like being able to just see things as they were without that specialness that, you know, our stories, you know, look at me, or and it all happened sort of spontaneously, and it was such a gift. Just it was just such a gift not to engage that. So anyway, I wanted to share that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
This is completely irrelevant, folks, but to those of you who came late, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And we just changed our clocks back. And I'm not really sure how to communicate with everyone here to let you know. We're going to do it again in a month. So when the United States changes their clocks in early November, there'll be one more time shift. But so there's like a month of like weirdness happening. So it's like during your, it's hard to do the math, but it's like, I don't even know how to communicate to everyone. If maybe somebody could say, what's the best way to reach everyone to remind you? Should I just put it on his website? Do we put, because we mentioned it in the meeting yesterday, but you might not have been to that. So that's okay. Should I just put it on his Facebook page? What's the best way to communicate to everyone here? Is my question, I guess. Little logistical things like time change things. Just
I'm
give me-
all for putting it on the website because that's where I check to go to the Zoom link.
Okay,
So, yeah.
good. Thank you for that. Sorry about that. I got your email. Thank you for that. And I'll just put it on the website, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, back to nothing.
Yeah. Maureen, I have learned from you, we cannot say anything of what we are. How funny. However you try, you cannot tell anything what we are. Thank you.
There's a quote that I like, and I hope you don't mind my sharing, but truth is that which never changes. I really love that, because if we think about that one idea, like what is truth? Well, if I told you I had a muffin for breakfast and only had one breakfast, and then the story somehow changed and I tell you I had pizza for breakfast, we're like, well, she's bullshitting me somewhere. There's something here that's not true, right? Because the story has changed, right? So if we go into what never changes and you take a look at yourself and you go, well, what's never changed? What stays the same? Is another way to say that. What never changes? And then when you explore that, if you look for enough, if no words come up, that's the correct answer. You know, that is because no word, I have to use words to point to no words, but that's what never changes. It's just this sense of being or knowing what prior to the words. When you investigate though, and you take a look and you say, well, what never changed? Can I find the one who changes? Without referring to thought, which by the way is always about what was or what could be. I mean, we can't have a whole lot of thought about this nanosecond, because the past is really a nanosecond from now, like ago. You can win an Olympic sport by 1,000th of a second. So this whole idea of a me is based on this illusion of time, which doesn't even exist, right? So we can't say a whole lot about now. So anything we're saying is about what was. Okay, so right now, in this moment, I am, but let's go beyond the words I am. Can I find the one that is? Now, without referring to the past. And if nothing came up, that was it. I don't know if that helps you, but I found that very helpful to notice that, to look for what never changed in me or what never changes. And there's another way, I think somebody else said, reality never changes. Reality just is, it just stays the same. It's real. The false, the illusion shifts. So, you know, the stories can change depending on new insights, new information. You can completely see it in a different way. Everything else, everything changes except for this I am before the words I am.
Like the ocean, the ever changing is never changing. And the never changing is ever changing. Still only the one.
Yeah. Beyond changing and non-changing. Yeah, I can say Bob will chop our all concepts, words, and thoughts. Chopper. Just for a fun.
So in chat, Tanya asked a question. She can't speak right now, but she's asking about anxiety. Taking the label off and leaving the energy as it is that all that needs to be done?
Yeah. What's anxiety? Another concept. It's like all the fear, anxiety, stress. But who's it happening to? Who feels anxious? Me or I? If I don't put that label anxiety on it. What is it? It's just a label we put on the ever-fresh presence awareness. Thought, feeling, and emotion, 3 aspects of the one thing. It's just that awareness expressing through it. First of all, there'll be a subtle thought there. The thought there will be a little while, then it'll become a sensation or a feeling in the body, anxiousness. And then it becomes, that feeling comes there a little while, it'll become physical. It'll stir up the body. The blood pressure will rise or whatever, you know. It'll stir up the nerves and things in the body. And there's a sensation, there's a feeling, it has become emotion. So we're in this emotion, anxiety. But it begins with a thought. What is wrong with right now? If I don't think of it, come back to that. If there's no thought, can it be anxious? And can it be that feeling or sensation? If you're not putting the feeling or sensation, what is it? It's just the same thing, in essence. It's vibrating into this pattern, shapes and forms and appearing to be real. But there's no reality to it. As Julia said a while ago, that definition of reality is that which never changes. And what doesn't change? The beingness, the knowingness, the loving to be, the Satchitananda doesn't change. The seeing, the hearing, the tasting, touching, smelling, all appearing, but no thing has ever happened. It's still all no thing. Hearing on the screen of space, like awareness and stillness, like an image or a reflection in the mirror. And you can't say those reflections or images in the mirror are not there, but try and grab one. Try and get hold of one. You can't, you'll only grab the mirror. So you can't say they are there. So they neither is or is not. But there's that knowing or awaring of the different pattern, shapes and forms, all appearing. That's like the mirror, the screen, the space and emptiness, which everything appears on. Has never changed, so it's seemingly changed. So no thing has ever happened, but the happening is going on right now. What's your next thought going to be? You say you don't know, but thinking comes up. And when the thinking arises, you say, oh, I think. I'm thinking this thought. So the thought, oh, I think, is a subject, a thought. And what I'm thinking, this or that or that, will become the object. So the thinker, thought are subject and object, duality. But can there be a subject, a thinker, without thinking? And can there be the object, the thought, this is good, this is bad, without thinking? So they can't be there without the other. So they're not separate at all. It's all the one essence. That goes to the seeing, the hearing, the tasting, the touching, the smelling, the feeling. The ing is seeming something that's happening right now, experiencing, knowing, going on right now. And it's really not divided, only seemingly so. So you can never get away from that absolute, which you are. Nothing can ever be added to it. Nothing can ever taken away from it. It's all absolute, if you like, or you can call it the great perfection, like they do in Buddhism. What can you add to the perfect? Not a thing, it wouldn't be perfect. if you could add anything to it. What can you take away from it? Not a thing. It wouldn't be perfect if you take it in. So you are that, and that's what the that is all about. And innately you know it because you say that's the chair, that's the tree, that's the space. Everything is that. It's not separate, but we put labels on it which make it appear to be separate. We're trying to describe the indescribable. We're separating the inseparable. No need to do it.
So Tanya posted something to the chat earlier, you know, about the thought and the illusion and the story and the feelings not being true. And I just wanted to comment on that. There's one of my favorite Bob quotes is the false cannot stand up to investigation. So when you investigate this thought, this feeling, you know, and then you can use the quote that I gave you before, you know, of truth is that which never changes. Or there's like I don't know, when you see that it's an illusion, or you can see past it, so you can see that this is sort of coming and going. It's what changes or whatever. It's kind of like seeing that the monster that you thought was under your bed never was a monster. It was just an image. And then that Nisargadatta quote of nothing can trouble you except in your own imagination also comes true. You know what I mean? Because you come to see that was just imagining. That was just your imagination. Anything that you can think about is imagining. You know, and then when you can see that that's just imagining, well, then the false has been blown out of the water. It's like shining the light in the darkness in a way, because then it casts, I don't know, that light just sort of puts the darkness out, even though it's like never really was any darkness. It just appeared that way.
Yes, Julia, just I want to add, Nisargadatta says, here is everywhere, now is eternal. We think that we want to be here and want to be there. That is anxiety. Be present here. Second, be now, but we want to be in future or in the past. So now is eternal. This is also pointer from Bob. Like time, space, and person. We are already perfect and complete. We are searching for incompleteness. We are searching for imperfectness, which is futile. No need. Once we know here is everywhere, now is eternal. So mind becomes still.
Yeah.
And you are
Here is-
everything.
Here is everywhere. That's pretty good. The other way around, nowhere. Take the now and put it on the here. The W off the, take the now, the W off the now and put it on the here. What's that mean? Nowhere.
Yeah, now here. Bob is known for his fun and humorous. Yes.
For also, I don't think there's any controlling it. I think presence awareness can include anything. Well, presence awareness includes everything. And if there's a shift in the mind body to try to control our manifestations, I think that's going to lead to some more suffering. So, I mean, Bob, your quote from your book says, start with presence awareness. And I've seen that with you, Bob. I mean, you basically will let pretty much any manifestation arise, you know, and not try to quell it or change it or whatever. And because that's the nature of presence awareness, is
Yes.
awareness.
If it's absolute, it must include everything, mustn't it? All inclusive. Yeah, that's good.
Yes, Marin, both are true. Includes everything and excludes everything. See? Beyond exclusion and inclusion. Beyond any activity or thinking.
One of my favorite questions to ask when I had anxiety, or when I do anyway, is what's here now? And that goes back to what, like going back to what I was saying before about now being all there is. I'm not living necessarily in this nanosecond in reality, of course, if I'm, and I am, but there's only now. But if my attention is in some imagined moment, it's not here now. I know it's not here now. If I have any thoughts happening, they're not about what is, especially if they're anxious, or scared or sad or, yeah.
Today's meeting is unique, Bob. Only presence and today's meeting only presents awareness. No questions, no answers, nothing is happening.
That's right.
No one is there.
Yeah, as I say, as a rule, a man's a fool. When it's hot, he wants it cool. When it's cool, he wants it hot. Always wanting what is not, never wanting what he's got. Just be. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bob.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank you. Bye. Everyone.
Bye.
Great,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Love
Love
you.
you.